Good morning, Facebook, and good evening to Australia. With Byron Smith out there in, am I right, in Sydney?
Melbourne.
Near Sydney?
Melbourne.
Hey, it's all the same to me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is. I remember from last time that when we spoke, and it was in December, wasn't it, when we spoke?
Yes, and I think it was around the time that In Your Eyes was coming out.
That's right. Yeah, good.
Had
That was
come
a
out.
good single, by the way.
Thank
How
you.
did that do?
It's doing pretty well. It's up to nearly 50,000 streams now, and it's had a really good reaction. I've been getting a lot of really good feedback about it, and yeah, so I've been very pleased with the response to that.
Excellent. And I know that you're getting like quite a large following now on Twitter.
Yes. So that's been really good. It's a fantastic support network, Twitter. So obviously that's where I met you, and it's also where I get to talk to a lot of other artists who are in the same position as me in terms of being independent artists, and we all support each other on there, and it's fantastic. And we also get access to people who are, playlist curators and record labels and people like yourself who are doing these fantastic vlogs and interviews.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm really grateful to be part of that community. It's a really good community. Yeah.
And of course, that's what we need in times like these. We spoke before in December when we spoke about the lockdowns and stuff.
Yes.
I know it's still continuing now, but we still need that community network.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty lucky in Melbourne. We went through a really long lockdown last year, but now it's opened right up. And in fact, they've really backed off on the mask laws now as well. So, not, only a few active cases, but they're all being kind of quarantined. And so it's pretty much back to business as usual here now, and gigs are starting up again. It's fantastic. That's
good. Is there any news of a vaccine over there? Because we have one in the UK at the moment, been rolled out.
Okay, yeah, there is talk of that happening, but it hasn't started yet. They're still getting that all organised here.
Yeah. Okie dokie. And of course, your new song title that everyone can see across the bottom is "Be Brave." Your new single that's out in 3 days.
That's
3
right.
days as we speak. It's nearly out there.
Yeah, I know. It seems like it's been an interminable wait. It's quite difficult because when you make a new single, you just want everyone to hear it straight away. But
exactly.
But logic and the best advice available is that you should give it enough time to build up a bit of momentum behind it. So I've been pre-promoting it across social media through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, of course. And that's been good because it's generated a bit of interest. So then when the single is released, there will be hopefully a bit of momentum behind it, which will get it sort of, going pretty quickly.
Oh, I know. You've given me a little teaser. That's right. I'm going, oh, this is good. This is good. It's like building up to something. It's like building up to something, then all of a sudden, oh, it's gone. Oh. Oh, okay. Thanks, Byron.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you like what it's been building up to when it comes out.
I think it sounds very different to In Your Eyes, and it's a very like I want to use the word avant-garde. Am I right in saying that?
It's actually it's probably more like, I would probably describe it more as a big ballad, if you like. I kind of was thinking Pink Floyd at the time that I was making it. And so it's quite a big sounding song. It's definitely different to In Your Eyes. It's not as poppy as that. And it's interesting that we started this conversation talking about COVID, because Be Brave is really a song about showing resilience in times of, big challenge and when adversity is confronting you. And of course, a lot of people around the world, including here in Melbourne, have had to show that resilience during the lockdown, and it's been quite challenging for a lot of people. So this song is kind of like saying, yes, there are all these challenges that life throws at us, but at the end of the day, to get through those challenges, you need to dig deep, find courage, and try and move forward. And so it is kind of a positive song, but it's not poppy positive. It's more in the message that underpins the lyrics. Yeah,
and that's good. If it works that way, that's great.
Yes. So
and I was hoping for a little bit more insight into the lyrics there, but you're not going to do it, are you? You're not going to give it away.
Well, basically, the lyrics talk around. They present situations that occur to people. Like to give you an excerpt from the lyrics, you'll see some things that'll make you scream. You'll find yourself in places that you've never been. You'll fight scary creatures in your dreams and develop faith in things that aren't what they seem, but be brave. And
yes, I think that was in part of the teaser.
Yeah. That's right.
You took the excerpt from the teaser. I love what you've done there.
Yes. I'm giving you nothing, am I?
Nothing at all. Don't trust these professionals, by the way, guys. They lead you astray. They really do.
Yes.
So how did you come about? Originally, how did you get the inspiration for this? So the inspiration was COVID, the lockdowns. But how did you come up with the tune and the melody? Where did that sort of come from?
Yeah. So once I have a sort of a thought around a theme, and the theme was basically to present some ideas of situations you might face in life that are challenging. And then, so it's kind of a call and response. It's like, you're going to face these challenges, but to overcome them, you need to be brave. So that's how the lyrics kind of took shape. Musically, it's really just me sitting around on my lounge chair, on my lounge sofa, playing the guitar and just singing and seeing what melodies work with a notebook, writing things down. And then when I'm out walking the dog or I'm driving around or something, I might have a lyrical idea or a melody idea. And I always have my phone with me. So I use the voice memo function in the phone, and I'll quickly record that into there. And then I'll go back to it later and review that and write it down. Yeah.
Does it ever happen where it's happened to me where you're walking along and you've got a lyric in your head and you think that's really nice, and then you get another lyric and you think, is that the same song? Is that for a different song? You just don't know where it's going at that point. And you start writing it down. Now it doesn't fit. See, I sometimes write 3 songs.
Yes.
And then 2 of them go, and then you get just one complete one, and then 2 you think, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with them now. You haven't got a clue. You know?
That's right. Well, it's really good to keep a notebook of ideas. So if I'm walking along and I have a thought, oh, that would be a good lyric, or I'm reading something, or overhear somebody say something, and I think, oh, that would be a good lyric, I try to write it down. And whether or not it's suitable for the song that I'm working on at that moment doesn't matter, because you've got this then reference resource that you can turn to in the future when you come to saying, okay, it's time to do some more writing. You can look through there and there might be a thought in there that triggers an idea for an entire song. Or it could be that you're in the middle of a song and you're trying to find some inspirational, some words to put in there. You can refer back to that notebook and incorporate some of those ideas into it. So, yeah, I find that really useful.
It is an incredible songwriting thing, though, isn't it? It's an amazing, magical thing.
It is. And sometimes you don't know where the stuff comes from. It just kind of like comes from, well, they talk about the muse, you know, this mythical woman or whatever up in the ether who channels through you, and that certainly does happen sometimes, where you just I've had moments where I've been recording and then the next day I'll listen back and I'll go, I'm not sure where that came from, but I'm really glad that it came. You know, it's almost like somebody else is writing it, and that's probably when the best stuff happens, because you're kind of in the zone and it flows. Yeah.
And just going back to the Be Brave teaser, because it is out there on Twitter and it's going out there on Facebook at the moment. The thing I found, it's almost freaky, isn't it? That face coming through the great face coming through the background of the wall, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really good. You know,
thank you.
Intriguing almost, and that's why I kind of called it. That's why I refer to it as avant-garde, because it's like kind of that sort of artistic, you know, thing.
I think the video, especially the verses, are going to be considered a little bit artistic in that regard. And when you think, when it comes, I do my own videos, like I put them together here in iMovie. And I feel that you don't necessarily always have to show exactly what's being said in the lyrics. Like if I said, you'll see some things that'll make you scream, and then I just, show somebody pulling a face or something. Or, you don't necessarily have to repeat everything that's being said visually.
Absolutely.
You can leave some of that to the imagination of the listener and the viewer. So by using that, and the device, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's basically a white sheet, and there's a woman behind it, and she's pressing the camera's on the front, looking back towards the woman, and you can see her pressing her hands and her face against the sheet, creating expressions, and it's a very artistic sort of looking effect, and it's almost mesmerizing because it's creating shadows, and it's in black and white, and it's creating positive and negative shapes, and it's just a nice device that kind of talks about the challenges that you face, but in a very nebulous sort of non-specific way. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking with the lockdown stuff, it's like behind a mask as well, almost, isn't it? Behind the shield.
Yeah, that's a really interesting observation that I hadn't even considered. But yeah, I think that's right. We are kind of like in those bubbles. We're behind, where we're being asked to stay behind this shield. And also, I think it also says that courage is a kind of shield as well, that that protects you from the things that you're facing. So so there's a few visual metaphors that can be drawn from the use of that device. Yeah.
Is it a favorite of yours at the moment? Be Brave, or have you still got in your eyes as a favorite?
It's a good question. I think it's I think you always feel like the last thing that you did is the best thing, or hopefully if you're progressing and getting better. I'm already a couple of songs ahead of this song now, so I'm sort of thinking there's more exciting things coming. I've already recorded another song that's going to be released in March, and I'm working on the video for that at the moment. And
he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop.
And I'm really liking how that's come together. However, I don't think it's going to be a hit because it has a swear word in the title. They
can always be like alternatively used words for that.
Yes, well, I remember there was that song "Forget You," which was adapted from another song that sounds like it's saying "forget you," but it's saying something else.
Oh, the Tula Green track, isn't it? You're going on about, I think. Right.
Yes. So I've used a similar word to that in this song, and so
there was one I remember from when I was younger called the Beautiful South song "Don't Marry Her." Yeah, and that was in there, wasn't it? Don't Marry Her, and they changed that to Have Me. They did a special radio version. They changed that. James Blunt's is it You're Beautiful? I think he had a swear word in that, and he changed it around. Flying from he changed it around from flying. But see, all alternate words you could use there, Byron.
Yes, I have considered that, but it's going to be challenging because it's sort of a key part of the whole essence of the song, using that particular word. So I don't think I really thought this through from a marketing perspective, but from a creative perspective, I'm very happy with it. So
exactly, and you could also have the old parental. Do they still do that? The advisory lyrics on it.
When you upload a song I use DistroKid as a distributor. They do ask whether it has explicit lyrics, and so you can check that box. And so it does include an explicit warning on it if it's on streaming services. So people can then decide whether they want to listen to it or not. So I think it'll still get streamed, but it's less likely to get played on the radio. It's not something that worries me so much. I really think that the creative intent is more important to me to get that message out that I want to say. And so that's why I've done it that way.
Don't know how someone like Eminem gets away with it. I mean, most of his songs always get all the way through them. It's like,
I know.
why do you continue to write songs like that and they completely have to edit it out? It's incredible.
I know.
But he does it. He does it, you know.
Yeah, he gets away with it. I think the people who like Eminem are sort of used to hearing him cuss, as they would say in America, and that they perhaps even like that. And I suppose the reason he does it is because he's kind of trying to get a particular emotion across as well, and it might be happening in real life. And so he and it's uncompromising in a way. It's saying, look, I have something that I want to say, and I'm going to say it. And I know, maybe it won't get radio airplay, but it's still something that I want to put out, and that's kind of the way I'm approaching it.
Going back to what you're saying about when you make your own videos, and you don't have to project what's been said in the song on visual, right? Most videos do that, don't they? Most songs don't actually have nothing to do with the actual song that they're going on about. Some videos don't at all.
No, that's
but of course, what I was going to say, the interesting concept there in that is, like, when a book is translated to film, the power of word is just, it's just something they do with the film that transcribes the book.
Yes.
It's what you get in the book, you don't get in the film sometimes. You don't get the same feel.
Interpretation of the person who's creating it. So there's an Australian film called Breath, which is based on a Tim Winton book, and Tim Winton's a famous Australian writer. He's not so well known overseas, and they made a beautiful film out of that with Simon Baker in it. And they actually involved Tim Winton in the production team and as a script consultant. So they were able to kind of communicate his vision through that. But quite often what happens with films is that a director will grab it, and the original author won't be involved in it at all. And so then it's up to the director to say, well, this is how I interpret it, and this is how I'm going to make it. So, and that's why that happens. I think that sometimes they're so different from the book compared to the film. Yeah. And that's what you tried to transcribe in your songs and your videos, which you did within Your Eyes as well, didn't you? Well, yeah, In Your Eyes is it's a combination of things, actually. In Your Eyes is a stop frame animation of notes that are written on pieces of paper, and that was kind of supposed to be analogous to this idea of a couple that may not even be speaking to each other. They're leaving notes for each other around the house, or and all those little notes that are in that stop frame animation are placed in domestic type situations on a next to some keys or on a kitchen bench or something. And so it was supposed to be kind of like a visual metaphor for that way that they were communicating with each other. And then that was combined with images of a woman who was the subject of the whole story, which was about, the story was basically about, a partner that you're living with falling out of love with you. And you can see it in their eyes, and that their smile's not the way it was in the past. And you're kind of picking up these cues that they're falling out of love with you, but they haven't actually confronted it properly yet, or told you. But you sort of, your heart sinks because you know inside that this is the beginning of the end.
But these positive songs, there's a positive feel to the song, though. It's not downbeat. When you say when you write in downbeat lyrics, have the upbeat song.
It's an interesting juxtaposition, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
I kind of like the irony of that in a way. Yeah, it is a very upbeat, especially towards the end when it's got these kind of Beatlesque layered harmonies that are doing the response thing. And it's very uplifting feeling, but it actually, the inner message is quite sad. And in some ways, that's how many of us live our lives, is that we go out into the world with these happy faces when nobody really knows what's going on behind the scenes within the four walls of your house.
Absolutely. And, you look at people, don't you, and you think, are they truly happy in their lives? They go around and you just don't know. It's an interesting. It's interesting. Obviously, we don't pry into their private lives, but it is an interesting concept in your head, isn't it?
Yeah. I've seen a quote on Facebook that kind of resonated with me. You know, one of those memes that goes around where they say, "Be kind to everyone because you never really know what internal struggles or physical or practical struggles they're facing, and so just have empathy and be kind to them." If you know.
Yeah, that's Darman does that. I don't know if you've seen Darman on Facebook, his videos, but they're very good with the positive message of don't judge a book by its cover and all that sort of thing. So they're pretty good. But if you ever watch a Darman video,
yeah, no, I haven't seen them. But I will. I'll look that up.
Yeah, look him up. He's quite cool. There's load of songs. You could get a load of message songs out of them ones. There's loads in there.
Yeah, good inspiration.
Yeah. You got to look for it where it is, you know. So we've got Be Brave that's coming out in 3 days' time.
Yep, 27th February. Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait for the release of it. Yeah. I thought you said February then. It's actually 3 days till February. Wow, okay.
No, definitely January. But I was thinking I'd put the date in for anyone who is watching this after that date, perhaps.
If you're watching this on the 24th of February, it's coming out in 3 days' time a month ago.
Yeah. That's a very clever way of putting it. Yes.
It's just a time lapse video. That'll be fun. But yeah, so it's going to be available on all mainstream platforms.
That's right. And the best place, if you can't find it on there, is just to go through my website, which is byronsmithmusic.com. And I'm not going to be putting the video out on the first day of release. I'm going to wait a week and then put the video out. That's just so I can get a bit of traction on the streaming platforms first. I know. You have to wait more. You have to wait more. It's torture.
I know. Still like that. Them songs, isn't it? I don't know what's my favourite.
Yeah. Don't
do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. You've got to be listening to your music. That's one thing, anyway, Byron. I must say.
Thanks, Graham. I appreciate that.
No problem at all.
When's your new music coming out?
Well, I have wrote a new song. Look.
Fantastic.
Yes. I'll give you a title. Yes, it's a
secret as well.
Your medicine back, Byron, there. but yeah, I'll send you a little teaser. How's that?
That'd be great. I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your interview. It was a great pleasure to speak to you again.
You too. Thank you. And it's great to see that these interviews are getting traction as well. And I'm seeing a lot of more people watching them. And so good for you. Kudos for supporting independent artists. And it's very much appreciated. And I know a lot of my friends on Twitter have spoken about that. I know that you interviewed Shiba Johnson today.
Oh, no. That got put back till tomorrow.
But I know that she's very grateful for the opportunity to get to talk to you and get that little boost that is always really, really appreciated. So thank you.
Well, this was a bit of a fluke thing that happened for me. Basically, because I was working on Phoenix Hospital Radio. I've done that for years, promoting artists on there, playing unknown artists. And it should be mainstream. I think all music should be on mainstream radio. I honestly live by that because it's still music. It's creativity, you shouldn't get in the charts because of who you are. I fully support that. So I was playing songs on there and then it got locked down. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? So I was sitting there, you got your partner, you've got your child, and you think, something missing with these art. I'm not supporting these artists anymore. Come on, So when he got 6 months old, I thought, well, I've got to start doing something here because he's getting a little bit more, 6 months. He's not so much
dependent.
Not intent, yeah. So, and I thought, right, I've got to start something. So I got hold of somehow George Wilson, who was in Grange Hill and Brookside in England in the 90s and stuff, and he was fantastic. He had a book come out called to do with bipolar. Because he suffers from bipolar. And I thought, this is a kind of a strange interview for me, because I normally interview musicians. So this is a star. I was like, what's going on?
Yes.
And then I thought, okay, go from there. Try and get people that you played on the radio before. Try and get a few people that you know.
Yes.
That worked. And then I started becoming people like you and a stranger. It's like, okay, let's roll with this. So it was kind of a fluke.
Yeah.
And then Owen Paul, I interviewed him, who sang "You're My Favorite Waste of Time."
Yes.
And I was like, this is incredible. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's just growing.
Yeah.
So I'm just living by it and just loving supporting people. I absolutely love supporting the independent artists.
Yeah, good.
That's one thing I really do.
Well, kudos to you, mate. It's very much appreciated. We are very grateful. Thank you.
And I hope I'm helping people out with the scope, giving them scope of their new releases as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is going to be a fantastic boost at the time, and obviously timed perfectly for the release. So yeah, great. Rum wraps. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, best wishes to you, man.
Thanks a lot, Graham.
Take care. I was just going to say that music is a fickle industry, and we need all the help and support we can get in any circumstance, don't we?
Absolutely, mate. For sure.
No worries at all. Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Graham. See you, mate.